It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for bold predictions. Of course, Ohio State is off this week. Mick Walker and Spencer Holbrook of Lettermen Row. That's us. We're not off this week. Ohio State really didn't take the week off either, Mick, but that's beside the point. But it's time. We're still going to make some bold predictions because the Buckeyes have 5 remaining regular season games, then potentially the Big Ten championship game if they take care of business, then if whatever they play in the college football playoff. We're calling it the halfway point, so we're going to make some bold predictions for the second half of the Ohio State football season. I've already got my 3 written down. I think they're pretty spicy. I want to see what Mick's got in store for everything. But first, I got to check in on my guy. How you doing, Mick? I haven't seen you in a few days.
I know it's been weird. We typically the past couple of weeks we've been spending Fridays together and Saturdays. So to only see you one day this week has been quite the change. But it's good to spend some time with our wives, and I imagine we'll get to see each other a lot next week for Penn State, and then obviously when we make our illustrious trip out to the land of West Lafayette, that'll be fun as well.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing for you that you haven't seen me. I've been fighting off something, and also everybody could use a break from me. I fully understand who I am and what I am, so I'm kind of a Muppet, Mick, if you will. That's how I basically would describe my personality. Which Muppet? Maybe I'll throw that over in the Letterman Lounge message board. If you had to describe yourself as a Muppet, who would you be? I'd like to think I've got a little Fozzie Bear to my game, if you will. But we'll talk about that a little later. Let's dive into the bold predictions. What's your first bold prediction for the second half of the Ohio State football season? And listen, Mick, if you take my bold predictions, I will be very angry at you.
Well, I hope this isn't one, but I asked you earlier this week on the Letterman Lounge message board. I said, did you book your hotel yet to New York? And you said, no, I haven't booked it yet because I don't know if he's going to win. Well, I'm here to tell you, Julian Sayin is taking home the Heisman, or as I like to refer to it, the Adam King Stiff Arm Trophy, as we know from television's Adam the King. I think Julian Sayin's winning this award. The last Ohio State quarterback that won at war number 10 as well, correct, Spencer? You're the historian.
Yeah.
I think Julian Sayin's bringing it home this year. I think he's going to huck it around a little bit these next few weeks against some pretty putrid defenses. I think he's going to get a win in Ann Arbor over the Michigan Wolverines, and then he's going to take down Fernando Mendoza in the Big Ten championship game, and he's going to check every box on the resume, get a couple, maybe a Heisman moment or two in there, and just bring home the trophy.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't predict that. Full disclosure, I do think he's going to end up in New York. I think it's a little bit different of a thing to bargain for him to win the award with Ty Simpson playing the way he is in Alabama, having maybe a couple more high profile games than Julian will, and a chance to win the SEC championship game, which everybody overinflates compared to the Big Ten, even though the Big Ten could possibly be number 1 versus number 2, with those 2 quarterbacks kind of leading the way. But I think we know the deal. The Midwest will probably have a split vote between a couple different guys, and the SEC folks down in the South will rally around one person, and that's why I think it might be a little bit of a difficult thing. But if he's overwhelmingly great, like he was against Wisconsin, like he has been all year, if he's completing 80% of his passes, I think it's going to be really difficult not to give it to him. So I like that. I've got an awards prediction, but we'll get to that a little later. I'm not going to dive in right away. I don't have any offensive bold predictions for the rest of the season. I have one that maybe includes a little bit of offense, but my first bold prediction is that Ohio State will hold all 5 of its next 5 opponents. Excuse me. Oh my.
Which includes Michigan, correct? Which includes Michigan in this situation.
Yeah, which includes Michigan. They will hold all 5 of its opponents under 20 points. So the high for the season so far is Illinois. This doesn't seem like it's super bold, but no team has done this recently, holding every regular season opponent under 20 points. It's a really difficult thing to do. Georgia's 2021 defense did it, and then it got absolutely torched by Alabama in the SEC championship game. The high that Georgia had given up that year heading into the SEC championship game was 17 points. I actually think there's a good chance that Ohio State does that as well. Illinois obviously scored a last-second touchdown, but I'm here to tell you, Mick, if Ohio State is up 34-10 in Ann Arbor, like it was up 34-10 in Champaign, the starters ain't coming off the field. I'm just letting you know. So I have a lot of confidence in this starting defense. Purdue, I think, is showing that it can't handle the Big Ten schedule. I thought that was like a competent team. Then they get shut out by Northwestern. I think it's going to be, some tough sledding there for the Boilers the rest of the year. I don't see them putting up a challenge. Rutgers has really shown us who it is in Big Ten play. They throw the ball a lot and don't have a lot of success. They've got to come to Columbus in late November. You don't know what the weather's going to be. UCLA, I think people are starting a little bit to figure out what that offense does. I'm intrigued to see what they do against Indiana this week because Indiana's got a good defense. But I think Ohio State will have a good plan to slow down Nico Iamaleava and the Bruins offense. And Penn State and Michigan, I just think those are usually lower scoring games anyways. And this Penn State offense without its starting quarterback and a run game that doesn't seem to have it figured out that much, they're going to have some new wrinkles. It won't surprise me if they score early, but I think over time you'll see this Ohio State defense take over. And then I'm just betting on Matt Patricia going back up into Michigan where he is infamous and kind of getting a little bit of revenge on those fans who kind of hate him for what he did in Detroit. So, yeah, I just think that none of these teams are going to be able to crack 20, and I think actually 4 of the 5 will stay under the 16 points that Illinois got. And maybe Illinois at 16 is the most Ohio State will allow this season.
I like that one a lot. And I think we saw against Wisconsin, even if they do take the starters out, these backup guys are not coming in to just mess around. I think if there was a charge for attempted decapitation, Aaron Scott would catch that charge after what he tried to do at the end of the Wisconsin game.
I could be wrong. I think there is a charge if you try to kill somebody and don't succeed. I still think you get charged with something.
Well, he wasn't trying to kill anybody. He just, trying to take a man's life. But that's a different thing for a different day. My second bold prediction here, I think I'm heavy awards based or accolades based here, but I'm going to go with Ohio State ends this season. Spencer's going to have to get the laptop out a couple of times, and then Berm's going to have to bring his shovel down from Michigan once he's finished doing all his yard work this week. But we got 5 Buckeye trees coming to the Buckeye Grove this year. I think we got 5 All-Americans. I think you're talking about Ohio State having Julian Saint as an All-American, Jeremiah Smith as an All-American. I think Caleb Downs will be one, Arvell Reese will be one, and the 5th, who would be the 5th? Caden McDonald, Caden Curry? No, Davis and Igbinosun bringing home an All-American honor here to bring 5 Buckeyes having All-American honors at the end of the season.
Okay. Yeah, I've got mine's award. My second one's awards based. I tried to stay a little bit away from awards because I thought that might be where you're going. It's hard not to make awards-based predictions when you talk about getting to the end of the season with this team because we've just seen them do so many extraordinary things, and you're trying to be a little bold. So I'm looking at some different awards, some different trophies, some different honors, and the last person to sweep the Bednarik, Nagurski, and Lot Impact Trophy was Will Anderson in 2022. He played linebacker and a little bit of edge rusher for an Alabama team that was really, really good. Does that remind you of anybody on a really, really good Ohio State team who's playing linebacker and a little bit of edge rusher?
I think we have 2 guys that are playing at that. I think Ohio State has 2 guys that are playing at that level we can talk about. But I think you're talking about the alien, Mr. Arvell, would be the guy you're referring to.
I think Arvell Reese is going to sweep the Nagurski Award, the Bednarik Award, and the Lot Impact Trophy. All 3 major Defensive Player of the Year awards, I think, will go to number 8. Look, I get it. These are scarlet tinted predictions. I understand that. That's what we do here. We cover Ohio State. There are plenty of fantastic, and I mean truly great defensive players in college football this year. There are great edge rushers. There are great linebackers. Caleb Downs is a great safety. There's no player in America right now that's having the impact on his team defensively that Arvell Reese is for Ohio State. He changes the way the Buckeyes do business at every level of this defense. He's been fantastic. He's the number 1 linebacker on the board for all the NFL draft nicks who every Sunday post new Arvell Reese clips to fawn over. They don't get to do that this Sunday because the Buckeyes are off. They'll do it on the 2nd after Ohio State plays Penn State. They'll do it on the 9th after Ohio State plays Purdue. He has entered the household name territory as one of the best players in America. The voters will know that. The voters will respond to that. And he will get a clean sweep, much like Will Anderson did 3 years ago. And I think it'll be a tremendous honor for him and something that'll be well-deserved.
I like that one a lot. I'm done with the awards prediction. We'll go quick question here. Carson Hinsman winning the Remington Award this year, Spencer?
No
more awards for us.
I don't think he I think he's played really well. I do. I think he's played really well. I think there are other centers who are also playing well, who are more well known. That award is a how well do people know you award because too many people don't know how to evaluate offensive line play, which is why I put so much stock into the Joe Moore award because like Cole Kubelik and those guys, they know what they're doing when grading offensive line play. But like the voters for the Remington Trophy don't sit down and grind the tape on centers. So you first have to have the name recognition and then also play for a great offensive line. Hinsman plays on a good offensive line, not a great offensive line, and doesn't have the name recognition. Seth McLaughlin won it last year because his story was just as good as his level of play. He was incredible, and he was like the derogatory term GOAT of the Alabama loss to Michigan the year prior. And nobody thought he could play center. And he came to Ohio State and was great. That's why he won it. So I just don't think that Hinsman's got the name recognition well enough. If he comes back for another year, next year I think he could win it. But I don't think he's going to win it this year.
That's fair. There's obviously other awards we could talk about, but we're not going to just list the awards here. My third and final bold prediction. This is not super unexpected for anybody that's been a fan following Lettermen Row this season, and it's probably not the spiciest thing considering one half of it's probably sealed away at this point. But I'm going to go with Bo Jackson and Isaiah West end up leading this team in rushing. The top two rushers on this team end up being Bo Jackson and Isaiah West. Obviously, Bo Jackson's already got a solid lead as the top guy there, but Isaiah West is about 140-something yards behind C.J. Donaldson to get that title. So we got 5 games. You get 5 games here to try to get that runway to get Isaiah West through it. And I think you're going to see him do that. And obviously, I think his role is only going to expand as we get into the Big Ten championship, the postseason, the different things that are going to be taking place for this Ohio State team.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I think that's a decent prediction. It's a little bold just because West – he had a great game. He's earning a little bit more of a role, but I mean, you still want to see it a little more consistently. We still weren't 100% sure about Bo Jackson until he did it against the team not named Ohio or Grambling. So you still want to see it, for Isaiah West against better competition.
We also have to consider that Ohio State again has Julian Saint at quarterback, Jeremiah Smith, and Carnell Tate. Like incorporating multiple running backs when you get against some of these better teams probably isn't the goal, but still. That's where I landed on my third because I wanted to incorporate the running backs and also just talk more about Isaiah West.
Mick, I'm going to give my third prediction, but I got to get something off my chest first because I think everybody's going to need to sit down for this one. The season, we're midway through, Mick. College football season is Modelo season. If you're listening to this right now, it means it's time for a reward. Reward your full-time fandom with an ice cold Modelo. Modelo is official beer sponsor of the college football playoff. Buckeyes fans, you deserve a Modelo. I'm telling you, go grab a Modelo. Hit pause on this. Go grab a Modelo and then come back. I'll give you my third bold prediction. Because if this happens, you're going to need an ice-cold Modelo as a reward. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is your Modelo in your hand, Nicholas?
We don't drink on this show, but
all right. You deserve it, Mick. I'm just letting you know. You're a great co-host here. Ohio State's going to beat Michigan by double digits in Ann Arbor.
Oh, no. Keep going.
Clip it. I don't care.
We know you got your friends in the Ford on the Wolverine, so Lord knows.
That's fine. That's fine. Bookmark it. Ohio State's going to beat Michigan by double digits in Ann Arbor. Look, the Buckeyes have shown they can defend mobile quarterbacks. Michigan is going to have trouble throwing the ball in Ohio State because the secondary for the Buckeyes is really sticky. I understand Donovan McCulley and Andrew Marsh have emerged. I think Andrew Marsh is a future star, like potential to be the best non-Ohio State receiver in the Big Ten star. He's great. He's very good. I think he's got – and I'm going to compliment Michigan a lot here. I think Michigan is figuring out how it needs to do business on the offensive side of the ball behind an offensive line that it probably doesn't trust, but still has made up for it with Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall running the ball. This Ohio State team is uniquely built defensively to bottle up exactly what Michigan wants to do. They're versatile. They're multiple. They are veteran. They're mature. And we saw them confuse quarterbacks who have been doing this for longer than Bryce Underwood. I think Bryce Underwood has a chance to be like an amazing quarterback in college football. I've been really impressed with his progression. But the two best defenses he's went up against this year have given him a lot of struggles. USC, I think, is a rising defense. He looked poor in that game. And the Oklahoma, which is the closest thing to Matt Patricia that he's seen this year, is Brent Venables, gave him all kinds of fits. And that game was on the road. I get it. I don't know if Michigan's going to score the amount of points. And I think that Ohio State and Ryan Day have learned their lesson from last year. I'm reading, I'll give credit to it. I'm reading excerpts from Buckeye Brotherhood, the book that Bill Rabinowitz wrote, that is now available. We won't completely plug the book, but I'm reading excerpts from it. And it's talking about Ryan Day learning lessons from the Michigan game and that closed-door meeting from December. And what did you learn, Coach Day? And why did you think we needed to win the rushing battle to win that game? Ohio State's no longer going to care about, you have to win the rushing battle to win the game. Like this is 1990, whatever. Go win the game. And you have Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin, Carnell Tate, running backs out of the backfield, Max Clare. Go win the game. And I think that Ryan Day, Brian Hartline, Matt Patricia, this entire coaching staff is going to go up there with one singular mission, and that is to win the game. Not win the rushing battle, not win the time of possession, not win the hearts and souls of people in the big house. Win the damn game. And I think they're going to. So I think they're going to win that game by double digits. I'm not going to hide behind that.
I think it's a good pick. I think you laid out all the reasons for justification. And again, I'll align with you. I like Andrew Marshall as a recruit. I think he's going to be a very good player for the Wolverines. I've always been a fan of Jordan Marshall, from a Cincinnati kid, Ohio kid. He's going to be a good running back for the Wolverines. And Bryce Underwood, there's no denying how talented he is. There is, however, the layer of, I think when you come down to it, and if we're just talking X's and O's, chalk on chalk, I don't think Chip Lindsey's going to out-chalk Matt Patricia in a football game. At least maybe I'm wrong. They got it done last year against Jim Knowles, who is obviously one of the more higher-paid defensive coordinators in college football. It's been kind of a rough start for him at Penn State, but I don't see Sharon Moore and Chip Lindsey able to out-chalk Matt Patricia in that matchup.
So, I mean, if I'm wrong, then, man, the Ford is going to have a field day with me. I'm going to need to fortify my house.
There's also the layer of, if you look at, I'm going through midseason snap counts and everything, like Peyton Pierce, who Ohio State loves to play kind of against these run-heavy teams, has played at an elite level, really, for the limited amount of snaps he's had. So you think he's going to get a lot of run against a team like Michigan. And then the other thing that's notable is, the 4 players on the Ohio State's defense that have played, the most snaps are, besides, it's Caleb Downs and Jalen McClain at the top, and then, I think 5 and 6 are right below them is Jermaine Matthews and David Zigvinosin. Ohio State rotates a lot in that front 7, get a lot of defensive got defensive tackles involved, play different linebackers and stuff, but they have a core secondary that they trust to do a lot of things, whether it's confuse quarterbacks or just take away wide receivers. And we've seen that against better passing offenses so far. So I think that's a layer of what they'll be able to do and how they'll kind of be able to stop Bryce Underwood as well.
I think we did the preview for the Michigan game a month early, Mick, but that's okay.
I imagine we'll have plenty more.
I mean, yeah, it's never too early to talk about the Michigan game. Mick, I don't know if you know this, but it's time to lock in those Saturday showdowns. It's just time. Take your excitement to the next level with a Parlay Boost token from BetMGM. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token, then add any college football parlay to your bet slip and apply the token. Just make sure you bet up to the minimum stake odds and legs specified in the token. If your boosted parlay hits, you'll score a bigger payout. Claim your Parlay Boost token and make this season unforgettable. BetMGM, make it legendary. See BetMGM for terms, 21 and over only. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEPS in Arizona, 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts, 1-800-BETS-OFF, 800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Mick. No Ohio State football this week. We don't bet on the Buckeyes anyways. We just kind of give a little bit of advice, but we do not bet on the Buckeyes. That is a full disclosure. I will never bet on the team that I cover for a living. Mick, you got any plays this week, man? You always want me to lead the way, but I don't know if you've got any stake in the game this week.
No, I'm just an enjoyer. I'm not much of a gambling man, so I will just be hanging out with some friends on Saturday, and the biggest line that I can set for you is maybe over under 2.5, 3.5 spotted cow after coming back from Wisconsin on Saturday. That's the biggest over under I got for you.
All right, I'll take the over. Let's see. What am I on this week? Yeah, it's a great weekend of college football. I will start with that. I think there's a lot of really good, like fair quality lines. I think you've really got to be paying attention to find some value in this week. um, I, I'm not just saying this because that's my alma mater. I think Ohio is going to absolutely paste Eastern Michigan. So Bobcats minus 11.5 seems like a pretty good deal there. Arkansas minus 2.5 might be my lock of the century. Auburn is bad. And I said in the summer, Mick, that Auburn was warm weather Minnesota. And I need to apologize to the Gophers because they're not warm weather Minnesota. They're this season, they're warm weather Wisconsin. They stink, Mick. They stink. And I tried to tell people about Hugh Freeze, and Auburn fans called me heinous names for the things that I said about Hugh Freeze. That's all I have to say. Who's laughing now? Not Auburn fans. I'll tell you that. I think Alabama's gonna really take it to South Carolina on the road. I don't care that game's on the road. I think Washington is going to beat Illinois by more than 4 points. So Washington minus 4. That's one that seems to be something that I'd be interested in. Yeah, I think that might be it. I was considering Mississippi State plus 7.5 against Texas, but then now it's down to 7. A push is a win in my book, but yeah, that's 7 is a pretty key number. And then Texas A&M minus 2.5 on the road at LSU is the other one that I got my eyes on. I don't care that game is at Death Valley at night. I think the reason they put it at night in the late window is because the LSU offense is NSFW and should have to come with a disclaimer. That offense is so bad. So I've got A&M winning on the road minus 2.5 and staying undefeated. That's all I've got, Mick. It's a light card. Like I said, a lot of really good numbers there. I can't find games that I fully trust this week. And so I think I'm just going to sit back, eat a metric bleep ton of food, and relax and watch college football. What do you think?
I think it's a great plan. We got a big week coming up next week too, as well, don't we?
Yeah, Buckeyes host this little team from State College called Penn State. I don't know if you guys know who they are. They're 3-4 on the year. It's been pretty heinous. They don't have a head coach. They've got an interim head coach. They do have a defensive coordinator. You might have heard of him. His name is James Knowles. He'll be back in the horseshoe for the first time since the Tennessee game, considering he no-showed the national championship celebration there in the horseshoe after winning and asking for a raise before the national championship game and then pouting when he didn't get one. But that's beside the fact. He's at Penn State now. He's going to coach the Penn State defense against this Ohio State offense. It's going to be a lot of fun. We don't have a line out yet on the Ohio State-Penn State game, but the Buckeyes are going to be looking to do some damage to the lowly Nittany Lions, who haven't won a game over a Power 4 opponent this year. On the flip side, Penn State's going to be doing a lot to try to confuse this Ohio State team. They're going to bring out basically a brand new offense and a brand new defense in this game. I almost guarantee it, to try to just ruin Ohio State's season. We'll see if they can get it done. Maybe without James Franklin, that's what they needed, because he couldn't win big games. So we're going to be there in full force all week next week, covering the team over at lettermenrow.com. Mick, Alex Gleitman, and Jeremy Burham. They're going to have full recruiting coverage because there's a lot of recruits coming in for Ohio State and Penn State. And we will see you over at lettermenrow.com, where you can get all of that coverage. $1 for your first 7 days. That gets you to next Friday. Or wait till tomorrow. Sign up. It gets you into the Penn State game. You'll see all of that. So go to lettermenrow.com right now. We'll see you guys over there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you over there at lettermenrow.com. We'll see you back here on the Lettermen Row YouTube channel whenever we need to. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. For Mick, I'm just Spencer Olberg.